Yes. Hello, everyone. Today we are going to start module number 5. Okay. Module 5, which is distribution systems. Which is, yeah, let me write down here properly. Distribution systems. Okay. So, what you have here in distribution system is you have first the introduction part, and in introduction what you will be having is a general distribution network scheme, general distribution network. Next you have two-wire DC distribution, two-wire DC, and three-wire DC distribution. So two-wire DC distribution, you'll be having numerical problems. Okay, so where you'll be having the different types of loadings, different types of loadings. So where you will be having uniformly loaded, and concentrated loading. Okay. So next you will be having the feeding being done at one end and both the ends. Feeding of current done at one end and at second end, or second end, like, just a moment. Yeah, both ends. So both ends are being present, and one end is being present there. And in this general distribution network, we are having the next one, which is the requirements, types, and later on you will be having the design consideration. Requirements, types of distribution, and design consideration. Design consideration. Okay, so these are the three things which have been there, and along with that you have AC distribution system. So this is the main syllabus here. So before going to AC distribution, you need to understand what DC distribution system is all about. DC distribution system is all about. And at the next one, you are having the AC distribution system being present there. So this AC distribution system, what you are generally talking about, will be having the, again, primary distribution and the secondary distribution being present there. So first one, you are having the primary AC distribution. Second one, sorry, yeah, B, this is secondary AC distribution. So primary AC distribution and secondary AC distribution is being present there for both type of DC distribution and AC distribution being present there. So here we will be having quite a good number of problems that is being present there. So you will be having the calculations part. First one, the calculations are being associated with respect to this one. And next, you'll be having the impedance concept in case of AC. Impedance. So this is entirely present in case of AC. So you'll be having several methods where you'll be having lagging power factor, leading. So there you'll be having three-phase unbalanced load. So four-wire star-connected loads are also being present there. So these are the different types of problems that will come across in case of AC distribution. So before going to AC distribution, you need to understand what DC distribution is all about. And later on, after solving the related problems, simple problems will be there in DC distribution system. And later we can jump into AC distribution. And here we'll be highlighting more on the method of analyzing an AC distribution system. AC distribution system. So AC distribution system there. Okay, so these are the important topics that are being there. So all the numerical problems associated will be solved. So numerical problems will be solved here. So this is one important thing, and you have to be very much clear about certain things there. Okay, so next what we can do here is, so first one, let us go for the introduction. So why do you generally go for such distribution systems? So we will be having generation. Okay, so next you will be having transmission. So next you will be having distribution, and at the end these distributed power will be utilized for the utilization purpose. So such as street lighting, heating purpose, or any such loads which are being connected. So loads, LOADS, loads are being connected here. So these are the different ways. So these three forms the major one. So let us not discuss much about the utilization part. So considering all these three systems which are in line, okay, when I talk about in line, you will be having the generation generally being done at 11 kilovolt and 33 kilovolt. So using a step up transformer, you will be able to transmit it at 220 kilovolt or generally at 400 kilovolt. So next, this is being stepped down by a value for generally 3.3 kilovolt bar 1.1 kilovolt, or generally 66 kilovolt at the substation level, so which is an increased order, and 1.1 kilovolt. So now this 1.1 kilovolt will be directly, or 1.1 or 3.3 will be fed to big customers or big industries. Okay, so big industries or higher load conditions. Okay, so these are the things which are being present, and even though if it has been stepped down, so it will be for 400 volt for a 3-phase AC mains, and next one you are going for a single phase, you will be having one phase, that is generally single phase, which is being present there. So these are the introduction terms that is being present. And next what I will be doing here is, so I'll be going for primary distribution. So what I'll be highlighting here is, so the voltage levels which are being present, and next one I'll be having the secondary distribution being present there. So secondary distribution is being present. Okay, so now I will be highlighting a diagram. So there you will be having let me talk about any network being present there. So let me take a network which is of this form, and you will be having the connections from the substations to all the points of the network being present there. From all these points of the network, you will be having it connected to the other part there. So we can have such systems generally being present from the substation. Okay, so from the substation you are having the feeders there. So these lines what I have drawn here is the feeders. Okay, so these are the feeders there. Okay, next this one is also a feeder. Let me highlight it by F and F here. Yes, so from each of the feeder you will be having the service mains, so from the distributors you'll be having the service mains being connected this way. So these are the service mains which are being connected from each part of the distribution network there. So now what we can generally see here is AB, let me write it as A, B, C, D and E. So AB is a distributor, BC is a distributor, CD is a distributor, DE is also a distributor, and AE. So all the sides of the pentagon or any geometrical figure will form a distributor there. So AB, BC, CD, okay, DE and AE forms distributor. Okay, distributors which are being present there. So next, these are the feeders. So once you have the connection from the substation to the distributor, you call it to be a feeder there. So next one, feeders are the connections which are being made from the substation, okay, from the substation to the local areas. Generally local areas are here nothing but the distributor network which is being present there, and to this distributor network, you will be having the service means connected to it. So these are the service means. These are the service means. Yeah, let me write it here. These are the service means which are being connected to it. So these are service means which are connected from the distributor part of the network there. So these distribution network which are connected, this is the general scheme of a distributor network. General scheme of distributor network. So this forms the important concept here. So substation, which acts as a local generating station. Next one, you will be having the feeders. The main point of having feeders is it has the constant current carrying capability. Constant current carrying capability. Constant current carrying capability. Okay, so these are nothing but the feeders which are connected directly from the substation to the distribution network. So service means is generally a small cable which connects the distributor to the consumer terminals. So these are the consumer terminals which are being there. So consumer terminals are nothing but the loading terminals which are being there, and these are the service means. These are the small wires there. So if you want to analyze the current carrying capability of this feeder and this service means, so you'll be having the current carrying capability of a feeder to be higher when you compare it with the service mean there. So those are the important points that you need to remember once you have the feeder and the service means being present there. So these are the area of cross section of the wire is less, area of cross section of wire is less when you compare it with the feeder. So area of cross section is more. Area of cross section is more. So that is what it is being there, and the current carrying capability of feeder is high and this one is low here. Okay, so this forms the major distribution network. So I can generally find out what a distribution system is all about. So it's a part of the power system which distributes electrical power for local use or for local requirement. So a distribution system can be defined in such a way that it supplies power to local loads. Okay, so local loads are local loading centers or local services, you can call in that way, or generally all these loads will be put into use, and these are the local loadings which are being present there, which utilize the electric power. Okay, so these are the things that are being present there. So this was the introduction part, and coming to the classification. Okay, so once I want to have a classification of such a network being done, so you are having three types of major classification being done there. First one, if you can identify what type of system it is. So whether it is a DC distribution or AC distribution which is being present there. So that's how you can adopt it, or generally AC system is universally adopted for distribution of electric power, as it is more simple and more economical than the direct current method. So next one, you will be having the type of the construction. So type of construction is being present here. Type of construction. So how you are able to construct it, or generally how you will be able to have this type of construction. So one is the overhead construction, which is the distribution being done there, overhead distribution network, and next you will be having the underground distribution network there. So at the end you will be having the scheme of connection, which is quite important. So once it comes to the connection type, okay, so once you have this connection type being written there, so how you are going to identify the connection type? So connection type is first one, which is a radial system, a ring system, and interconnected system. So you are having a radial ring system, and interconnected system. So radial, ring, and interconnected system is being present there. So these systems are being, I'll tell you in detail how it functions. So you are having the radial system, ring system, and interconnected system. So each and every system has its own advantage and disadvantage. Once we come to the connection type, so you'll be able to understand how it is being functioning and all. So each and every distribution system adopts it's based on the requirement there. So all these connection types, and this is just a classification. So where you'll be having DC and AC distribution, type of the construction, and the connection type or connection schemes. I can call it as connection type or connection schemes. Under this one, you will be having the radial type, ring type, and interconnected type of system being present there. Okay. So next, what we can generally look for is the requirements of such distribution system. So why we need to have like a distribution system, and if I have a distribution system, so what are the requirements of distribution system? Requirements of distribution system being present there. Okay. So first one, what I can highlight here is the proper voltage. So let me highlight here. So I'll be having the proper voltage being given to such system. So this is one of the important requirement of a distribution system. So once you will be having the voltage which varies at the consumer terminals, variation is one thing which needs to be not much present in case of such systems being present there. So once I have this variation, so I need to have the relative less percentage of the variation at the consumer terminals. At the consumer terminals. So once I talk about consumer terminals, it is nothing but the loading terminals which are being present there. So the change in voltage are generally caused due to the variation of load on the system. So once you are not having any constant load, so the loads are generally varying in nature. So loads are varying in nature. So loads are varying in nature. So you are having such systems being present there. So low voltage causes generally loss of revenue, inefficient lighting, and possible of burning of any loading conditions such as rotating loading conditions being present there. So any such increase in the high voltage causes the lamps to burn out permanently and may cause failure of other applications there, or appliances or applications which are being connected to it. So you are having a limit of plus or minus 5% to 6% variation, plus or minus 6% variation in the normal voltage which is to be varied. So if I have a 230 volt, so you may have plus or minus 5% variation that is being present there. So any such variation higher than this one, it is will definitely cause some problems to the distribution system. So first one is the proper voltage level that needs to be maintained. So next one, what you are having is the availability of power on demand. Availability of power on demand. Okay. So availability of power on demand. So once you have the power which is being there at the substation which needs to be distributed, so this must be available to the consumer from time to time. So you may have certain motors which are being deployed for industry purpose. So you need to see that these motors are generally active with nature throughout the functioning of an industry or a company there. So without any warning, advance warning or advance information given to the electric supply company or from the company to the industries, so you cannot turn off the motors there, like you cannot turn off with the given power there. So it must be the distribution system, it must be capable of supplying load demands to the consumers. This necessitates that the operating staff must continuously study the load patterns to predict in advance to those major load changes that follow the known schedules. So okay, it is just the power to be available at the consumer premises. Power to be available at the consumer premises. Okay, so next one, I have the proper voltage and the availability of power on demand. So next, how reliable is it? So once I have this reliability factor also to be considered, so this is the third point. So reliability factor to be considered. So entire modern industry is dependent on the operation of electric power. So it is dependent on operation of electric power being present there. So next you will be having all these homes, buildings, industries which are being there. So it is lighted, heated, cooled and ventilated by electric power. So this is generally being termed as reliable. This is entirely being termed as reliable. So unfortunately, the electric power, like everything else that is man-made, can never be absolutely reliable. However, the reliability can be improved to a considerable extent by using an interconnected system and an automatic control system and providing additional reserve facilities for the system. So improvement in reliability can be achieved by these factors. So this was the three requirements. So first one is the proper voltage level, availability of power on demand. Next, you will be having the reliability into consideration. So taking all these pictures, so we'll see to it that in the next video, we'll be discussing more about the design considerations and the connection schemes. And if possible, we'll be having some numerical problems also to be discussed there. Okay, thank you.